we're going back to that time where, um, back in the days in the 30s and things like that, people would sit around the radio and listen to your favorite radio show. This is before TV, and internet and all the other distractions they had. People had the radio shows and radio broadcasts. People put energy into that. And it's funny, it seems like we're going back to that tonight and in this day and time because we get more and more people sitting around listening to internet radio, my broadcast, other broadcasts. That seems to be where the most mental stimulation is coming from, different ways of thinking. I mean, you got some silly nonsense on blog talk as well and blog and internet radio, but you have very serious broadcasts on here, such as this one, where we're speaking about topics that are going to evolve our way of thinking, evolve our minds. See, a lot of our people are not looking to go any further than they are. They say they want to evolve and they want to move forward, but they really don't. A lot of our people, they want to just get enough intelligence so they can turn it into information, so they can sound heavy and deep. Got a lot of those out there, especially a lot of you people that are sitting in here listening as guests who I don't know who you are. I know you're coming from other radio broadcasts and you don't want to be seen as those who are listening to my broadcast. Then a lot of these people will sit up here and they'll take things I say, all right, and they'll try to mesh it into what they teaching or try to change the words. I heard a few people doing that. And I only just have one thing to say to you. I'm not coming from an egotistical standpoint about it. I'm just saying because, I speak out on it because you cause a confusion. You understand? When you try to mix this knowledge, this message, this new knowledge and new message of intellect with your old stagnant ways of teaching, you're slowing down the evolution of the people, and you're causing confusion to the people that you're going out trying to sound heavy and deep in front of. But a lot of our people don't get that. You understand? A lot of our people don't get that. It's like this sister told me. She said she was trying to. It was I believe she said she was at a record convention or something like that, and somebody was trying to explain to this so-called rap producer that you can't take other people's music and sample it. I guess without their permission or whatever, but this person is taking other people's music and sampling it, and the person couldn't understand why it was wrong for him to take other people's music. You understand? That person opened himself up to receive that music or receive that way of thinking or that advanced way of thinking to give out to people. It wasn't for him to take that music. The next person, the second part, to take that music and jack it and put onto it and cause, because he didn't want to open himself up to receive, or he wasn't on that level. It's just like a lot of our people, they want to play. Everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be a general. Everybody wants to be a god. Nobody wants to be soldiers or Indians or whatever. Everybody wants to be a chief. Nobody wants to be soldiers. Nobody wants to be Indians. That's not how this is supposed to work. Our evolution here, you understand, is always supposed to be those who lead and those who follow. You understand? Because in actuality and in reality, we all following something. We either following the intelligence of the true and living God, Amen, or the information, or which the majority of our people are following, the information, the adulterated information of the beast, i.e. his religion, his philosophy, his politics, and all the BS that he puts out that our people follow. You understand that? So I just wanted to get that out of the way and say that. Don't cause confusion in the message, in this new message to come. Because, as it says, in the book, that a lot of people are going to be, in the Bible says a lot of people are going to be led astray, confused, sent down wrong paths, all these different religions and philosophies, which is why I'm doing a lot of broadcasts on God, to get a greater ultra-standing, not an understanding, not an overstanding, but an ultra-standing of who and what God is. And where did he come from? What is before God stepped into these dimensions, into this atmosphere on earth? Where did God come from before that? We're going to discuss all of this tonight. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mental Radio. And tonight, where did God really come from? Yeah. In the beginning, in the book of Genesis, it says God said, "Let there be light." This is before the planets were, and the firmaments and all this stuff came into play. God was in darkness. What darkness was God in? Right? It says in the book of Genesis, God was in darkness. A lot of people think that was like real triple darkness. Like they really believe this. God was somewhere in a dark space. Well, he was, but there was light there. That darkness that they're talking about in your Bible that was misunderstood by your theologians was the universe. God was in the universe before there was an earth, before there was a solar system, before there were these planets that revolve and move around the solar system. God was there, right? He wasn't some spirit or some spook in the universe. He existed in a boundless world or a boundless planet that was not bound by solar systems in the universe. The Sumerians referred to it as Nibiru, or Planet X. The white man referred to it as Planet X, meaning the 10th planet. Oh, they call it the 12th planet, but the letter X is a representative of the Roman numeral 10, but they call it the 12th planet. Right? God, they said that wasn't. That's where they got the idea of God from our people living on a planet. And come from Zechariah Stitches. He translated a lot of the story of Nibiru and a lot of the Nibiru story and the Sumerian story of Nibiru, and God went into your Bible, where it talks about in God's house there are many mansions. Right? So they translate that house means planet. You understand? A world, a planet. Obviously one that was more advanced than this. Right? People always say, people got it mixed up when they would say, oh, God has an origin, brother. God had to start somewhere. God doesn't start anywhere, because the only way you understand time is by this planet, which moves in a rotation around the sun. That's how time works. Time does anything that goes beyond the sun has no time frame. So God has no origin. He comes from no time. That's why it says God was in the beginning, and God was in the beginning, or at the beginning. And at the end, or in the beginning, you understand? And at the end, or meaning he was before time. All right. So how could he be before time if he has an origin? You understand? If you say God is omnipresent, meaning always present, right? That means he was present before there was a time frame, before Earth started in motion, right? Before the Earth started moving around the sun, before there was a sun. You understand? When there was just space, there was just universe. No one ever explains that God was moving through the universe in a world, on a planet that was boundless, with other people. Your white man, he tried to explain this it was funny. He tried to explain this in your Star Trek, the old Star Trek series, right? Where you had Captain Kirk and all these people were on a ship that was moving through the universe, right? And they lived on this ship, right? They lived on this ship. They would go to different planets and dock, and may get some crystals or whatever they might need, anything for fuel for their ship, and they would keep moving through the universe. All right? Now that wasn't an idea that just popped into the white man's head. That is actually how God moves. All right? God moves on his own world. Amen, or the Amen beings. Just as you have human beings on this planet who are native to this planet, you have Amen beings who are native to that planet they refer to in the Nibiru. Understand? It was bigger than Earth. Right? Earth is becoming Nibiru. I'm going to say it again. Earth is evolving, or supposed to be evolving, into Nibiru. Right? Because pieces or elements of that world went into creating the Earth. I'm going to say it again. Elements of God's planet went into creating the Earth and other planets. Right? God didn't just take things. Amen didn't just take things from no place. You understand? his world or their world went into making these planets, right? This is why they were able to come. Amen was able to come and live in this world or live on these planets because they resembled pieces of their world. You understand? They had the DNA of every animal with them in their world, and they planted them on the earth, right? They planted these animals on the earth the same way they bred humans from these animals and added their DNA and their genetics. This is all what they refer to as scientific experiment, which is really an experimental. Creation, meaning that they were trying things out. Right? They were experimenting. God did not know everything, as I said before. So God and his people were doing trials and errors, creating worlds, having places to dock. You understand? Having places to come, breathe life, and move, and come back, utilize things from the planet. You understand? And move on. Right? Leaving life here on the planet from their bloodline to govern the planet, so that they can send messages to these people, their descendants on the planet, who are the descendants of the Amen race, the God race, who are moving in Nibiru, your black race, right? Your so-called black race, who looks like nobody else here on the planet. I said earlier on Facebook, I said, this is punishment being here. We're serving out a sentence. The so-called black race, the first governors of the planet, the bright race, the first governors of the planet, the Amen beings, we're serving out a sentence here in hell. This is hell. This is hell that the descendants of the 200 fallen angels, the 200 fallen messengers are trapped in, being under the beast, having to answer to their authority, when we're supposed to be answering to a higher authority of Amen, and those Amen beings receiving future intelligence. This is hell we in. There's no place underground. There's nobody with any pitchfork. This is hell for the 200 fallen, because we fell into the timeline with the humans, and now we're governed by them. We think we're like them. This is the punishment. But now that we're receiving this future intelligence, this is the connection that's being made with our people to raise the elect of our people, because many of our people are not going to go. They're not going to move in line with this evolution. They're not going to receive this connection from God to move us back to where we're supposed to be. That's why I said it will only be 144,000. God stepped in to this world through dimensions. Right? Excuse me. God stepped into this world through dimensions and steps out through dimensions. And we're supposed to be following the same pattern, the same path, the same form of pathmatics. Being able to step out of each dimension and walk through the dimension from the fourth to the fifth to the sixth. You notice in the word dimension, you see the word MEN. People are simple. A lot of our people think that the beast comes up with these things. He comes with words like dimension and Amen and things like that. Or the black man comes up with it. This just pops in the black man. Say nobody's thinking up anything. You understand? These images are being generated in the heads of man in order to lead the elect or the bright ones back. They are being used as signalers. You understand? They're being used to send signals. The messages they put out in their films and their programs, when you can differentiate which is silly and nonsense from that which is supposed to signify something or be a signal, that is supposed to be signaling us or triggering something in us to let us know that we are supposed to be receiving reception, higher intelligence. That's why he came with all of these things and whatnot. The God race, the Amen beings, sent this through the white man. It's not his ideas. It's not none of the black man's idea. Amen is not the black man's idea, not the white man's idea, no man's idea. Who taught man how to speak? Man didn't just start speaking. Man, the white man, they didn't just go from being in caves to start talking. Right? They had higher intelligence that bred this life. Like I said, when you try to explain this to the black man and to the black woman, the ones who are in darkness, they don't want to accept that Amen is a thinking man. That's too much for them. You understand? They don't want to accept that Amen is a thinking man, even to broach the question or come to the question of where did Amen come from or where did God come from. They're not ready for that because the white man didn't give that to them. The Arabs didn't give it to them. They didn't get that from the religious theologians. They wasn't brainwashed or dirtied up into their brains and handed to them in a state of confusion. Because you got certain people that love confusion. They love to pray. They love to be in confusion. They love to worship spooks and unseen and invisible gods and whatnot because that sounds nice. You understand? The real story where they were talking about the war in heaven or the so-called war in the heavens, when they talk about the heavens, they're actually talking about in the universe. They're not talking about in any clouds. They're talking about the war in the universe. You understand? The Star Wars. You understand? Where people were actually fighting in space because the Amen beings, they led this thing. They came out of this universal space, which is why man is looking into space. We're not doing anything new that the Amen beings haven't done already. Everything that we are doing, they've done already. Remember, we are their descendants. They come out of us. So we taught them. You understand? We taught God by our mistakes. We taught God by our evolution into becoming God. So we're supposed to be becoming them. The gods that we're talking about, the Amen beings, are the elect in future state. Just as we are the 200 fallen angels of the past, the 200 fallen messengers of the past, we're the same bloodline genetic. There was Egypt, there was the Sumerians, there was the Negroes in America. You understand? That are going to be the 144,000, and they're going to be the ones who, in the future and going out of this world, who are going to be the Amen beings, the ones who are going to be traveling interdimensional. That ladder, that Jacob's ladder, climbing up in dimensions, mentally and physically, because this is how we're going to leave. Those are our people who are in tune. Those are our people who have given up the old ways of the beast. This is how we're going to leave. Not through prayer. Not through no meditation and rocking back and forth. No. The only way we're going to start to receive is when we reject all the ideas of the beast, his ways of thinking, his ideas, and accept this knowledge of intellect and live this. Not as somebody who's coming with your own preconceived notions or you come in as an individual. No. Because we have to come together collectively. You understand that? God didn't come here alone. God came here with a group. You understand that? Don't believe that lie. They talking about God was alone, but then they said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So obviously God wasn't alone. He was with other people. And if he made a woman, obviously there were women there that were being made in the image of goddesses. You understand that? People that left here, you understand? Like I said, because you had, like you have a army, like you have an organized group, that's how God was. God is and was head of an army of gods, Amen beings, a race. You understand? And he left a group of people here on earth to govern the planet. Your 200 fallen, the ones who fell down here, who stayed here. The descendants of the ones who were trapped here. You understand? Suffering under the beast. God comes in from the universe, walks in through dimensions. You understand? Through time frames, through different time frames. God is represented in every different time frame by a genetic manifestation of himself. God has a physical counterpart in every time frame. Right? He had a physical counterpart in Egypt. He had one in Sumeria. You understand? He had all these physical representations here. Why? So they can receive knowledge from God. So they can be receivers, receptors, to pick up messages and give them to the people, the elect or the chosen people. All right? God is looking to do that again. That is not happening amongst the black race today. There are no receivers amongst the black race, but there will be a new group of receivers amongst the bright ones, the solar intelligent beings, the ones who are going to receive the messages. All right? God moves in a world that is powered by intelligence. Right? What do I mean by that? It's not powered by some solar energy and things like that. It's powered by intelligence, group intelligence. I said that you got the people at NASA. They was trying to get. They had their astronauts doing meditation right now, heavy meditation, because they're trying to get. They figured out that ships and things like that can be steered through the mind, through thoughts. You understand? You know, that was the first stage of when they would hook those things up to your brain and whatnot, those senses, and they would read your biorhythms and your thoughts and things like that. They would. All that was the beginning of being able to track your thought patterns so that they can power something. They're only going to track something to see the flow of energy so that they can, once they get the flow of energy, they figure that flow of energy is going to be used to what? To power something. You understand? So this is the first stage where they're trying to figure out how to power things with the mind. You understand? We're supposed to be figuring this out first as descendants of the Amen beings. We're supposed to be figuring all this out now. You understand that? But it's going to go over the heads of the majority of the people. Right? God moves in the world of intelligence. Right? Constantly evolving his thoughts. Constantly stepping in and out. Constantly receiving intelligence and moving back and forth. People sit up here and say, you know, where did they'll say, like the Nation of Islam said, oh, brother, that's spookism. Why is that spookism? You know, people say that's spookism. They say, well, tell me where God came from. God always is. He's in the heavens. What does that mean? What does it mean when they say God is in the heavens? That came from the white man. He's the one that painted God as some white man in the heavens. Y'all got that idea from him sitting on the cloud with a beard and a white robe. Y'all got that from him. You understand? And he got that from the Sumerians and them because they misunderstood when the Sumerians and the Egyptians was talking about in other worlds and stuff like that, and they was talking about excuse me, they was talking about God in other worlds. So they figured that when they talked about God in other worlds and above the earth and whatnot, they figured, oh, in the clouds. So that idea that you have of God on the clouds and sitting in some clouds and whatnot, that's from some screwed up perception of the white man that he took from us because he couldn't understand, because like I said, he jacks everything. He jacks stories and things like that because he couldn't understand it. It became some nonsense in the clouds, you know, that don't even make sense. Because how many times we done went through the clouds, right, and in planes, and you haven't seen any heaven or anything up there. Then I heard one of the Israelites say, well, brother, it's invisible clouds. Okay, that's not spooky. All right. So I said, Nation of Islam, they said to me that Master Father Muhammad is God, brother. I said, okay, where Master Father Muhammad came from? His mother and father. Okay, well, where they come from? From their mother and father. Well, where they come from? From their mother and father, and their mother and father, and you know, and okay, but all right, so that's a bloodline, okay, but where did the bloodline originally come from? Where did it come out of? It obviously wasn't bred here on earth, because if God came here, if God was here on earth, if God was born on earth, and his bloodline starts here, then he's just like everybody else. Then that means he's on the same level mentally as everybody else, and that can't be correct. Because how the hell he gonna be God if he's on the same level as everybody else, mentally and physically? Obviously, that can't be God. You understand? That don't make sense. Now I could accept you saying that, oh well, God, the true God, he sent some intelligence to forward them. Now I could accept that they were used as instruments to receive intelligence from God. When I said that God moved in the future, in a future world, they looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, what's crazy about that? The future does exist. In each dimension you rise, and that's the future. That represents forms of the future in each dimension that you rise in. You understand that? More defined states of the planet only going to come in time. with the rotation around the sun. And anything outside the sun or beyond the sun, going beyond the 13th dimension, beyond that gate, there's no more time. That's when you enter the realm of mathematics. Right? Now, I'm like, what was so crazy about that? That God exists on another planet. Y'all know, Minister Farrakhan, they didn't say it. That was the problem. Or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't say it. So they're not gonna, they're not. That doesn't work because they said as so below, so above. So if as so below above, then that means that God lives on a planet just like we live on a planet. All right? God lives on a world just like we live on a world. Right? God is ahead of us. He's more intelligent than us. He's just a man who's more intelligent. Same way, like I said, when they talk about Superman, how Superman came here, and they tried to tell you that even in the Superman story, where do they refer to Superman and his father, the house of El? Now, what was El? In the old Hebrew, the word El meant God. So what were they saying about Superman's father and mother? That they were gods, and that Superman was a god amongst men. But what was the difference? They were more advanced than humans. That's what made them gods over them. That's the same way the Amen beings are. Just think, let me help out the simple-minded. If you want to know what God is, just think of the Superman and the Kryptonians and all these other people, but it's black people living in another world on another planet. That's your God race. No spooks, no spirits, none of this nonsense. Just a supreme group of mentally advanced people. You understand? Who, when they came back into this atmosphere through these dimensions, they could do all the things you saw the so-called Superman and them doing. They can do that. They were faster than everybody. They were flying. You understand? They defied levitation. They defied gravitational pull on this planet. Hell, our hair defies gravitational pull on this planet. So that's a sign that we're supposed to be flying. That's supposed to be one of our capabilities. As descendants of the God race, of the Amen beings, we're supposed to be able to fly. We're supposed to be able to have flight. That was the whole thing where they talked about Jesus walking on water and doing levitation. That was the first stages of flight. Because obviously it was people in that time frame who was in tune, they was doing that. Some of your 200 fallen angels was doing that. That's why if you look in Egypt, when you see the women, they did the women up, and some of the women up with wings. It wasn't that they had wings, but they were trying to say, the Egyptians were saying was these women were flying through the air. You understand? That was their only way to be able to sculpt to tell you that these women were able to fly. You understand? So they painted images of these people, made sculptures of these people with wings and all kinds of other things, certain abilities and whatnot that they had that was beyond them. These people were advanced. You understand? And I said God is constantly evolving mentally. When he comes into this atmosphere, you understand, he slows down the longer he stays. God gets trapped in by time, which is why he leaves a gate open to leave and come back and leave, to the point where as he sends intelligence to those in each dimension to receive the intelligence to move the people of that time forward. You understand that? It's very simple. It's not complicated. But like I said, to the people who got a big old question mark in their head, who just want to pray and believe that God is somewhere in the clouds and whatnot, this is not even dealing with them. None of that is based in logic. That's all based on a bunch of limited, simple-minded beliefs that they got from some white man and some Arab, and a bunch of philosophies and simple-minded superstition. The limited perceptions of men, they want to put their faith and belief in that instead of putting their intelligence in what is logical. God is an advanced man? Yes, very logical. God is a thinking man? Yes, very logical, because you are thinking people. Well, the majority of the black race ain't thinking no more. Everything been geared towards shutting the black race down. And their mental, and the black race, they okay with that. You understand? It all comes down to the white man wanting to step in, the human beings want to step into the role of the Amen beings on earth and receive your power. That's why they mixing their seed. Now they pushing the whole seed mixing thing, because they feel like at least their genetics will be part of the Amen Bing will have some sort of connection with the Amen Bing so that they can receive solar intelligence at least by bits and pieces. Because as they are, as the Caucasian is, and the humans are, they can't receive solar intelligence. So what are they pushing? Mixing the seed. You understand? So they can receive some sort of solar intelligence from the next generation of those mixed race children, even if it's in bits and pieces, because that's how it's going to come. But the best way to ensure that it stays with them is by dumbing down the rest of our generation, by getting y'all to listen to and follow the image of the beast, to follow and put the Jesus Christ on their necks, the white Jesus and all that, to dumb them down even further. And you got a lot of these niggas that done sold out. Your rappers, your singers, they're putting the cross on. They're slowing down the evolution. God is trying to make his way back onto the planet mentally by sending communication to the ones who are elect, because they obviously saw in real time that the so-called black race was going to remain in darkness. They were going to remain under that punishment. So when God steps in and steps out, you understand, seeing where the people are, going back to his world, which they refer to as Nibiru, and coming back into this realm, back and forth, he's seeing what's taking place, watching. That's why they put that picture. They said that God was the all-seeing eye, meaning that he saw everything, or he already saw everything in this atmosphere on Earth. He saw it all already. Where is he watching it from? From the universe. You understand? He's watching Earth from the universe. There's no need for God to come here, because God is constantly moving into the universe. If God stops moving into the future, into the universe, and his intelligence stops advancing, then our intelligence stops, because we're receiving intelligence from him and his people. This is like an army. This is like a government. In fact, it is a government. You understand that? Amen is a government. It is a race of governors, controllers, rulers, senders. And we're supposed to be doing our part as receivers in this day and time, not serving the beast and his religion. See, because the beast, they want to step in as receivers, because they know that's where the true power is. But our people, like I said, they don't want to accept that. They want to accept the way of the beast, because they still think this is real. You understand? They don't want to deal with the reality that God is amongst us in physical form, receiving as a representation. When they said that, the whole Jesus story of saying that you can't get to the Father but through the Son, that has some validity. Why did it have validity? Because it meant that it would be one who had the intelligence of God on earth would be the ones that would lead the people toward the knowledge of God, the true knowledge of God. It would only be one. It wouldn't be many. It would be one, because many brings confusion. One, there is no confusion. You understand? He would spark the intelligence in many. One would spark the intelligence in many. Why? Because it is necessary for them to do a job. It's not necessary for people to go, okay, well, I got the knowledge from God, so now I'm good. That's not how it works. You receive intelligence from God through the Son of Man so that you can be put in a position to do a job. That's the purpose. Not so you can sound intelligent and speak and talk shit and be like, oh, well, I got the knowledge now. That's not how this works. Not like your religious Negroes who read the Bible and things like that and get an understanding. And you're like, for what? What you understand? Okay, now you understand. Now what? You know how to pray. You believe the theologians and they bullshit stories about somebody on a cloud somewhere. Now what? What is the purpose of that? There's a purpose for me teaching why God comes from some place, so that we, the elect, know where we are going, know where we must head to, where we must be evolving to mentally and physically to. You understand that? That's why I'm teaching about this. We refer to the planet Nibiru as Mentel, the planet Mentel. Why do we refer to it as the planet Mentel and not Nibiru? That was what the Sumerians referred to it as. We refer to it as the planet Mentel because it is being powered by mental energy, by Amen beings. You understand? It's being powered by mental energy. You understand? By intelligence, by thought procession. You understand? By mind power. So we can refer to it as whatever we want. You know? A planet is governed by continuous communication, continuous mental communication from God and that race of gods, the Amen beings, those continuous race of people. You understand? This is not spookism. These are people that are pure mental, pure mind, advanced mind, solar intelligence. You understand? Pure light. You understand that? That's what we're trying to head to. That's why I said I don't concern myself with the things that go on here. You understand? In the ghetto, with the white man in politics, we don't care. When I see a lot of these posts and things like that, I said we focus. The bright race is not interested in what's going on with the black race. I'm really not. We're not interested in what's going on with the white man. We're not interested in nothing. We're interested in connecting. Our only thing is connecting with God. Amen. The true and living God. Amen. That's it. We're not interested in any of this other stuff. You understand? We're not interested in this because we understand, or we have an understanding that we are in hell here. You understand? And we keep ourselves trapped in hell here. We keep ourselves in bondage here by feeding in to the things that keep our prison cells strong, our bars strong, keeps our reception low by being focused on the football game, the basketball game, on some ass, on some money or whatever you're doing. You understand? Sex, all these things you focused in on. I'm not saying these things, like I said, I'm not saying totally knock these things like that, but y'all energy, the black race energy is totally focused on stupidity. And stupidity is what keeps you locked up, mentally locked up. It keeps you from ascending. It keeps you from going to where God is, mentally and physically. God is on the mental. You understand? God is on the planet mental, the planet mental. So, forming a state of mental down here makes perfect sense because this planet is becoming the planet of mental. You understand? Once the mentally dead, the submentals are gone. All right? We can call it anything we want. You understand? As the God race, as the solar intelligent being. Nuberu is just something the Sumerians called it, based on their understanding. You know? Nubara. You understand? Nunbara. They talked about the boat or the ark or the bark. You understand? That the gods moved in. Ships, which is what I might make it the idea of ships, and ships being synonymous with crafts. You understand? Traveling, masonry, traveling, craft, mason, traveling, crafts, movement, God moving. They know all this. They know this. It's all synonymous. It's all synonymous about how God moves through the universe in darkness that actually has light. God was never in darkness. You understand? The men who wrote that nonsense were in darkness, were in a state of ignorance. God was never in darkness. How could God be in darkness when He is the light? He is the intelligence. If you have intelligence, you're never in darkness. Even with all the lights out, the fact that you can see dark means that there's light in the darkness. You understand? If you can see dark, you understand? Then that means there's light. You understand? Even blind men can see. They see darkness. You understand? It's just not highly resonated in their vision. They can see. God is never in darkness. Man is in darkness. Man is in ignorance. This is all synonymous. God is always intelligent. You understand that? God is always intelligent. God is always receiving. There's no such thing as God knows everything or that you can know everything. There's no such thing as everything. You understand? There's no such thing as everything. There's always continual. You understand? The universe is constantly expanding. So that means God is constantly moving through the universe. You understand? And as God moves through the universe, His intelligence increases. Why does God's intelligence increase in the universe? Because each day you're moving, each day you are in motion, you are receiving something. You're supposed to be picking up something. The same way God is moving in the universe and picking up higher thoughts, advanced thoughts on how, to create worlds and other better worlds and things like that, and better biospheres and better planets. It's the same way every day you get up, you're supposed to be receiving intelligence. You understand? As a natural receiver. So you think about it as God, Amen, the Omni-Man, the continuous one, is constantly receiving these this eternal intelligence. You understand? Mentellect on a higher level. As he's receiving that, think about what it is that you're supposed to be receiving. You understand? From this level. This is the rising of a new people. You understand? We have to know exactly what God is, not from no philosophical standpoint. You understand? Because the Negroes in religion, they always going to make God philosophical. It'll always be, oh, well, brother, I don't see it that way. We don't give a goddamn with how you see it. You see it from where the white man see it from. You understand? You ain't got no way of thinking about God. You got it from the white man. You're not even thinking about what God is. You're not using logic and intelligence. You've been taught not to use that. They tell you that in religion, you're not supposed to think. You're supposed to just believe and have faith. Bullshit. You understand? You're supposed to believe in their lies. That's what they're really telling you, and accept they philosophies and they superstitious nonsense. That's what you're supposed to believe in and accept. Don't challenge these people, because what you're challenging is their authority. That's the problem. They don't want you thinking beyond them. They want to be the ones that receive the intelligence and adulterate it into information for you. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know what God is and what your connection is to God. You don't know that. The black race don't know anything, because the black race now has no connection to God. You understand? So this is going to be over the black race's head. They have no connection to God. That's why they got to sit up in some church. I'm getting prayed up, and and like I said, everybody can be in the damn church now. Like I said, everybody, church is for everybody. You understand? Because you got people who are moving in darkness, in ignorance. You understand that? I said before, God is only for the elect. So you 2/3, you ones of our people who just caught up in the beast, you might as well stay with him, because y'all not going to receive this message of intellect. It's not for you. It's only for the bright ones, the elect, the 144,000. That's it. The rest of you, those of you in the black race who's sitting up here and y'all getting entertained off of damn love and hip hop, and y'all got that love and hip hop mentality, whatever nigga nonsense y'all into today. You understand? Lil Wayne, Young Jeezy, whatever the hell you niggas, Nicki Minaj, whatever the hell you niggas listening to today, stay there with the beast. Stay there in the black race. This ain't for you. Stay with the white Jesus on your neck and the cross, and keep getting prayed up in the Islam and the big Muslim-ass beards on your face and whatnot, following the Arabs. Stay with them. That's where you belong. You don't belong amongst the elect. You understand? God, the true and living God, Amen, not Allah, not Jesus, not Jehovah, Yahweh Shai, whatever the hell fake gods you following. No, Amen is only dealing with the elect. That's how it's going down here. That's what's moving forward. Amen is stepping into this dimension, stepping through these dimensions to deal with his people in real time. You understand that? The beast knows that. You understand? His whole point is to drag a whole bunch of you down before this thing ends and before the new beginning starts. That's his whole plan, to drag a whole bunch of as many of you down with him, mixing your seed with him. For taking part in what he's doing. That's why I said the majority of the black race ain't nothing but a bunch of shaded versions of the beast, man. Amen is coming from their world. They're coming from their world to reconnect with their people from their planet. You understand? People say, "Oh, brother, I can't believe you saying God live on the planet, brother." Well, where the hell God come from if you saying He don't live on the planet? Because it says clearly in the Bible, if you want to go with that, and the Egyptians said the same thing, so above, so below us, and they talked about in your Revelation that God, the kingdom of God is going to come down here on earth. So if the kingdom of God is going to come down here on earth, then obviously the kingdom is somewhat similar. You understand? Then to what it's here, it's going to be more advanced, of course. But obviously, if it's in a kingdom or the world of God, that means God lives in a world. Hello, it's not no spookism. It's a real world, a real government, a real new world order. That's just bullshit the beast talking about, where he handing you a bunch of mulattoes to follow. You know what I'm saying? A real world, a new world to come by the God race. That's real. But you're going to have a lot of these Negroes that's going to oppose that. You understand? God is not coming because He loves us. It's not about love. You understand? It's about need and reception. You understand that? God hasn't been able to get a strong reception here on the planet for the longest time. It's been okay amongst the beasts because He was only meant to rule for a certain amount of time temporarily until our people started coming back in order, until we started being able to raise our intelligence to receive this communication here on earth. Once that happens and our people are ready to structure, then the beast is no longer necessary. Understand? He's not necessary. But as long as you got the niggas that serves the beast, who want to keep our people dumbed down, then the beast will stay in power. Because like I said, he's not concerned about money. He's concerned about control and keeping the control out of our hands. Because the 144,000 is supposed to breed a new race. Are supposed to breed a new bright race, not a black race, not those who are mentally dead. Solar intelligent beings, where we're supposed to take on the image of light beings. You understand? Pure fire, pure energy, pure light. A golden look. You understand? A sheen to our skin, a new look. You understand? Pure energy, pure light. I put something on the Facebook page where I said, where they had the golden mask of Amun, of the Egyptians, and I said it was funny how they did it. You could tell it was a black man's face, or the so-called black man's features, and you should see them going from he started devolving to a slave, then to an American black man with a tie on. Yeah, I said that's the fall of the bright man to the black man, one who is in darkness now. That's the fall. That's the fall into ignorance. That is the disconnection from a world in which we were receiving power, a world in which God comes from. You understand? That's what this is about. We'll be right back. There's a reason why it says God is omnipresent, omnipotent. Why is God continuous? Why is God eternal? God is eternal because He moves through the universe. That's why. That's the power of God. The power of God is that He has no boundaries. You understand? The power of God is He has no boundaries. The power of Amen, the Amen beings, the Amen race, Amen, is that they have no boundaries. Why? Because they're not bound by gravitation. They're not bounded by a solar system. We have limitations here because we are bound by time. We are bound by solar systems. You understand? Amen is not bound by that. Amen is free to move through the universe in His world, which is why He is continuous, which is why He is eternal. He is free to receive intelligence as fast as He wants because there is no time frame to govern it. You understand that? There is no time frame to govern it. He's free. They are free to receive continuous communications because there is no boundaries. There is no sun for their world to spin around. It just moves in a linear state. But we're supposed to be thinking as the bright race in a linear state, which is parallel to the way the planet Mentel or Nibiru moves in a linear state, which is parallel to the way Amen thinks. We are a extension of the Amun race in this time. This is what the 144,000 are supposed to be functioning as. Not as some believers, not as some prey people or some people that's looking to worship another god. Everyone who receives this intelligence of mentellect, this knowledge of mentellect, who are chosen, you're supposed to be doing something as a part of the collective. A lot of people are not hearing that. A lot of people are still arguing about petty things, still want to be their own leader, still want to be individuals, still want to sap energy. You will not be permitted to come amongst the elect. You understand? You will not be able to be made in amongst the elect. You will not be able to do what it is you want to do. You understand that? Your purpose here is to serve the God race, the bright ones, the ones of you in the black race. Your purpose is to serve the beast, and y'all doing that. You already made your choice, but you will serve. You will serve a purpose. Because when they say serve, it means to serve a purpose. That's what your purpose is. You're supposed to be serving a purpose. You understand? Not some goddamn servant. Oh, I'm a slave to Allah. I'm a slave to Jesus. No, that means you're a slave to the beast, because those are his creations. No, when it says you're supposed to serve, that means you're supposed to serve a purpose. The black race, they serve a purpose to the beast. The bright race is going to serve a purpose to our answer to a higher authority, which is Amen, the true and living God. And his name is not Allah, and his name is not Jesus, and it does matter what his name and title are. Because you people that sit up here talking, oh, it's all the same. No, it's not the same. You're causing confusion. There is no God but Amen. You understand that? But you people that want to promote religion, you people that want to promote religion, you still can't get it through your head, so maybe I got to bang it in. Those ones of you who say you listening to me and that you walking with me and that you going to walk this journey with me and accept this knowledge of mentellect that we live in as a way of life, not as some fad or some style that niggas want to come and sit in class and hear because they want to get they want to get some new information or some new, what they think is information, when this is actually intelligence. You understand? When it's supposed to be elevating our people, not something to blow your mind. You understand that? Not something that's going to make you smarter than everybody else, put you on something where you looking down on everybody else. That's not what it's about. This knowledge is not about everybody else. It's about the evolution of us as a collective, not as individuals, not as somebody who looking to replace one religion with another. The connection with the true and living God from the future world, from the boundless world of Mentel, a.k.a. Nibiru Planet X. Because, like I said, there was no coincidence that Far and Elijah called the brothers in the Nation of Islam, gave them the letter X, right? And I said that the letter X in the Roman numeral is the number 10. And what does number 10 represent? Separation. What was down by Elijah Muhammad and them talking about? Separation from the white race. You understand? So don't tell me down by Elijah Muhammad wasn't in tune. You understand? Don't tell me something about, oh, Fard told him. Fard didn't tell him nothing. Fard was just a receiver who gave the message. He was the messenger and he left. He gave the message to God. And he woke God up because God was asleep. God was Elijah. Planet X. The X-Men. Malcolm X. These X representing the number 10. In the word 10, you see the word N, which means Lord, E-N, which means Lord in the old Sumerian and the old Babylonian. Lord. The separation of the 1 and 0, the rotation or the revolutionary circle, right? And the evolutionary line. Why did they choose that letter X? Unknown. You understand? Lost but found. Who found us? Amen found us. Everybody was saying Amen's name on the planet. The Masons know Amen is God. You Muslims and Christians, y'all in darkness, but Amen is God because you say his name at the end of your prayers. Amen. Amen. It's all Amen. You understand that? You're resonating Amen's name throughout the atmosphere. You understand? While keeping his race in darkness. the so-called black race, those who are in darkness, those who are calling on fake gods, while the beast is calling on the true and living God. He got you calling the fake gods of God, of Allah, Jesus, and all these, while he's calling on the real God of Amen and receiving his intelligence. It said in there that the devil is going to prove that our people are not worthy to receive the power or the knowledge of God. Right? That's the beast trying to show by dumbing down our people and making them simple-minded that we're not worthy to receive our intelligence again. And you know what? For the black race, he's right. He's trying to show by making not making us, but we accepting this cooned out mentality of being under him. He's trying to show that we're not worthy of receiving the intelligence or governing the planet. We don't want to be responsible. The black man want to call himself God, right? But he don't want to take care of his family. He don't want to make sure his woman ain't on welfare or running to work for the white man. But you want to talk about you God, or you don't want to try to do nothing for yourself, you and the other gods, so that you can stop working for the damn white man who got to tell you when to get up and punch a time clock. But you God. You understand? That's your ego talking. I said God is not a word, it's an action. It's not just a word. And these people sit up here talking about, oh, well, that's not the original. Well, who cares? You know it. You know the name is God, the title is God. I said God was Amen. Are we functioning as Amen beings? No, we're trying to function as human beings. That's the damn problem. That's the problem. We're trying to function as human beings when we're not part of the human race. You understand? The bright race, the Amen, we're supposed to be part of the Amen race, the God race. You understand that? We look this way purposely. We look different from everybody for a reason. You understand? This is our open door out of this thing. Past the sun. Our genetics are supposed to be the open door out of this thing. But the more you mix your genetics, the more you mix out your bloodline, the more you bound yourself here. You damn your children here to this planet. Why? Because when you mix your seed with the beast and all these other races of people who were born here on this planet, you are weighing them down by gravitational pull. Why? Because water is weighed down by gravitation. You understand that? Water has a gravitational pull. You understand? So when you mix your seed, when you black women taking the sperm of the beast, the white man, the rest of them, the East Indian, whatever, you taking in the bloodline of the weak sperm or the weak semen that is governed by water, that is governed by a gravitational pull. You understand that? Whereas you're supposed to be taking in that light or that fire, that sperm that carries that light of that fire that's going to raise your children, that gives rays to their hair, that makes their hair and their skin and their texture and their features different from everybody else. When you mix your seed with them, you're damning your children into this gravitational pull, into this revolutionary state. So you're severing their connection with the almond beings. They're no longer recognized. Or it takes a long time for their DNA to be recognized once you mix your seed. That's real. That's real. A lot of our people have already given themselves over to the beast. All right? Many of our people have already given themselves over to the beast. They've already decided to mix out. They've already decided to sell out. They've already decided to stand in the way of God coming back into the world. Through the communication, through the connection, through everything. They've already decided. They've already decided to be in the way of the true and living God's power back here on earth. But make no mistake about it, he's going to take hold of the earth again. Full control of the earth again. That's going to happen. And he's going to choose an elect to govern the planet. And it won't be the beast this time. You understand that? It won't be the beast. Damn sure won't be you Pan-African niggas. Won't be y'all neither, because you with them. You going with the beast. Won't be you people in religion, because all you did was cause confusion. You already choosing sides already, because if you're not supporting this message of the elect, as I said, God's message is for the elect. It's not for you niggas that want to sit up here and you want to be human with everybody. First of all, your biggest mistake is thinking you human with the rest of them when you're supposed to be of the Amen race, the God race. You're supposed to be, you're supposed to know that you are the bloodline descendants of the God race, the Amen beings. the omni ones, the eternal beings. You're supposed to know that. And though my words may seem strange to many, though my words and what my explanations may seem strange, it's very logical if you pay attention. What's been strange and what's been causing confusion is the beliefs of the beast and his philosophy that God came somewhere on a cloud, that he floated in here somewhere, and you accepted that. You accepted these lies, these beliefs. Now, you have the chance to receive the true intelligence on who and what God is so that you can start this ascension too amongst the elect, amongst the collective, to start this motion of collectricity and movement and moving forward. You're receiving this knowledge, like I said, it's not for the majority of our people. So if your people are not sitting around here listening to it, that means it's not meant for them. You understand that? It's not meant for them. I'm going to show you somehow deep that is when I look back at, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did, where he had children with a whole bunch of younger women after, he had his children with his wife Clara. He was trying to ensure that his bloodline made it into the future. And once I looked at it and it came to me that he was trying to ensure, because a lot of his children with the sister Clara, his wife, they were off. They got caught up in the world, man. And with the beast, they got caught up. So he wanted to make sure that his younger children stayed on the path. That's why he laid with the younger sisters. If it was just a lust thing, he could have not just had children with them. He could have used protection or anything. He wanted to have children with these women because he wanted to make sure his bloodline, his seed continued. Because had he depended on these men, it wouldn't have. On his previous children, it wouldn't have. They would have strayed off. He knew that there was something beyond Islam. You understand? He knew that there was something. He said, God is coming back. He said, after me, God is coming. You understand? Something, a future premonition. You understand? A future prophecy. He talked about the year 1970, just like Dr. York talked about the year 1970 as being a year of change and time and the evolution. A lot of things happened in that year. God started sending stronger intelligence to the planet from Nibiru, from Mentel, from his world into this one. You understand? Started sending the knowledge of the separation, that we are actually, as the Amen beings, and I picked it up in this day and time, that we are actually another race of people, that we're not part of the human race, that we are actually the Amen race, that we are actually supposed to be separate from the human race, that we're supposed to be moving in a whole nother realm and a whole nother existence separate from the human race. That's why if you notice, y'all move differently. You're coordinated in you move differently from everybody in the human race. Your coordination is different. That means your coordinates are not the same as theirs, meaning your movements are not the same as theirs. I said that y'all supposed to be stepping in the first and receiving messages in the first, not in the second, because the Amen beings move in the first. They move in the linear. They don't have any repeats. They don't have any rotations. They don't have any limitations. That's why I said God is continuous, because he moves through the universe in a world that has no boundaries. Mentel Nibiru, planet Mentel. Amen lives on the planet Mentel, which they refer to as Nibiru. And they say, oh, well, brother, how you going? Like I said, they'll come back to me and say, oh, yeah, brother, you just making up that word Mentel and whatnot. Like I said, if the planet is powered by the mind, right? If it's powered by the mind, right, and you got Amen beings there, the mental, the lords of that world, then why can't I refer to it as the planet Mentel, right? Something made me refer to it as the planet Mentel. Something made me call, because there was a time where before it was the state of Mentel, when we referred to it as the state of Mentel, it was the state of mind, and it was before that was the movement of thought. So once we arrived at the state of Mentel, and we realized that we were supposed to be raising receivers, mentalists, receivers, a list of receivers, a race of Mentelians, not Africans, not Egyptians, not Sumerians, not Americans, Mentelians, people who are only concerned with receiving future intelligence of mentellect from the future, from the planet Mentel, from the God Amen. Then, like I said, it all starts to line up as a linear picture, as one mental picture. Now they'll say, oh, he crazy. That brother off. He crazy. That brother, I don't know what that brother talking about. That nigga done lost his mind. He talking about mental, and that sound like some kiddie stuff. Really? Really? You the same niggas that believe that y'all gonna, like I said, y'all the same people that believe that God lived on a white cloud somewhere. You really read? We sat in a restaurant one time. Me and the brothers, the funniest thing, and these guys was talking about how Allah cradles people like babies and gives them a blanket or some madness he was saying. You know, and they was describing things out the Quran. I mean, it sounded, in all these religious beliefs, and I'm like, really? Y'all believe that some God is sitting on a cloud somewhere? All right? You believe that you're gonna go to heaven and you're gonna have 72 virgins. I didn't know y'all believed in having sex in heaven. You know, is there spiritual sex? I don't know. And where's this heaven? What's the name of this heaven called? Where you're gonna have these women that to have sex with them? Because obviously they got to be virgins there. Because obviously you're gonna have sex with them if they virgins. No, what that is the limited perception of men who can't think beyond sex. You understand? But no, I'm crazy for talking about a thinking God, a thinking man who's sending intelligence, telepathy, you understand, telepathic messages to and elect people on the planet. But I'm crazy for talking like that. Why? Because I'm a so-called black man. I can't think like that. I got to wait for the Arabs to say it. I got to wait for the white theologians in Rome to say it or introduce that. No, I can't receive any intelligence from God because I'm just a nigga. And that's what your black Muslims, that's what your Israelites and your Christians will say about me. Who this nigga think he is. That sound crazy, but let the white man say it. Let Dr. Oz or somebody, whoever the hell, some new religious bullshit theologian that sat on Oprah Winfrey couch come up and say the same thing, or somebody's come up there on Nat Geo or Ancient Aliens and say the same thing, and then these Sambo Coon niggas will accept it. They'll accept it. But it's just not as long as they ain't coming from some black, so-called black man. Nah. You understand? Personality driven. These are the people who are not going to receive the intelligence of God. Because you worrying about where it come from. You worrying about the man. You're worrying about who that nigga think he, cause I ain't getting it. So I had somebody from the Nation of Islam tell me that. Who you supposed to be? But I thought you said the black man was God. So wouldn't God know or receive the intelligence of God before anybody else? You understand? Sad, but true. Hateful, ignorant, spiteful, disgusting. Nibiru, Mental, is the future Earth. What I mean, Earth is going through that evolution. Earth is being put through an evolution to become Nibiru. That's why you're going to see another sun coming in. That's why things have to go and have to be moved off of the planet. People have to go in order for the intelligence and the solar intelligent messages to come stronger. Because just as the people are, the earth is going through an evolution, the people, in order for the earth to go through an evolution, the people have to go off the planet in order for God to make this world like his world. In other words, like they said in the book of Revelation, bring his kingdom down on earth. It says it clearly. You understand? In order for them, they made these worlds. The whole point of making these biospheres, these worlds, these different planets was that their world, so that these worlds would eventually, in time, through an evolutionary process, through a dimensional process, would become their world, would evolve into their world, would evolve into Nibiru. You understand? It's like taking a plant, right? And you seed, and you already know what it's going to grow into, and plant it somewhere, and in time, the seed is growing. Same thing with Earth. Earth was meant to be Nibiru. It was meant to be a Nibiru through time, through an evolution, through a dimensional evolution. Earth is becoming Nibiru. That's real. You understand? But you have to get rid of some of the garbage off of it first. You understand? You have to get rid of some of the liars, the religious people, the bullshit artists, the beast, that has to be put under control first in order to bring heaven down on earth. That's what that means when it says bringing heaven down on earth, the world of God down on earth. That means transforming the planet into God's world, into Nibiru, the planet Mentel. That's what that means, the planet Amen. You understand? Hell, we'll call it the planet Amen. You understand? Because it's their planet, so it's the planet Amen. That's what we refer to as, okay, from now on we refer to as the planet Amen. Makes sense? The planet Amen. You know? Makes more sense than the Nibiru. That was their understanding of it. Said the Amen beings are receiving, they're sending intelligence today in real time. God is sending intelligence to his people in real time. Ain't no more belief. Ain't no more sitting around here relying on some old-ass books. You understand? There's no more relying on that. I only speak about, like I said, you hear me, the only book I really speak about is the book of Revelation because that's all that's mattering because we in that time right now. The time where God is transitioning the world into his world. And all the things you're going to see, the people dying off, the beast, with coming with the heart machine, all that's meant to happen. Like I said, that's why I'm not mad at the white man. The beast is doing what he's supposed to do. The white man is doing what he's supposed to do. Bringing that goddamn destruction. Bring it. You understand? Do it. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not mad at you. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You understand? Everything you're doing, you're being allowed to do. You understand? Even if it means me going off the planet. Hey, it is what it is. I don't give a damn. You understand? I'm here at the behest of the Amen beings. That's how much I know this is real. I'll put my life up. I don't care. I'll put my life out on the line. And I am putting my life on the line. You understand? It wasn't until I hit my 33rd birthday, after all the shit I've been through, I realized they was protecting me all the time. And I'm not even supposed to be here. This is real. I done seen this. I'm seeing it. I don't see what you all see. For me to get up here and do this, put this out my pocket, this is real. This evolution is going to take place with me here or without me here. It's going to happen. It's not getting rid of, the intellectual, will stop him from saying, it don't matter. It's going to happen anyway. You understand? Here to warn my people. You understand that? That's going to happen anyway. It's going to push our people ahead as a collective. Either you're going to live by the words and by the power and by the government of the true and living God, Amen. Not no Allah, not no Jesus, no more of that. Only one God, Amen. As the Amen race, or die with the beast in his religions and his bullshit beliefs. That's the message. See, because a lot of our people are hard of hearing. A lot of our people, y'all don't get it. See, God ain't coming back to be nice. I'm going to give an order. That's how it works. I'm following orders. You understand? I answer to a higher authority. I'm following orders. You understand that? They ain't coming back here to stroke you sisters and be nice to you brothers and whatnot and stroke the black race. The hell with the black race. You understand that? You niggas want to remain in darkness. You want to be with, you want to remain in that love and hip hop mindset, basketball wise, and the NBA playoffs. The hell with you niggas, man. All this evolution is going on here, generating through the planet. God sending this intelligence on the earth, and that's all you niggas thinking about is a new pair of sneakers, $200 pair of sneakers. Who you gonna lay up with? You understand that? But like I said, the elect, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. They're going to get this evolutionary message. We'll be right back. In an army, you're supposed to follow orders. You serve in the army. Where do you think the beast got that idea from, to serve your country, serve in the army, and follow orders, follow instructions? He got that from the guard race. We're supposed to be answering to a higher authority. All right? We're supposed to be following orders as a collective, as a group. There are no individuals because God's army is being raised. You understand? The army of God is being raised. The army of Amen. The civilization, the society of Amen is being raised. And there are no individuals in this society. You will not be allowed to do what you want. If you have an individualistic mindset where you're not listening, then you will go serve the beast. Serve him. Because you will serve. You will serve. You will do what you're told, either by the beast or by Amen. There's no free will here. You understand? Really, there's not. Well, there is free will. Let me take that back. You can either serve the beast or you can serve Amen. But when you serve the beast, you're going under bondage. You're going in the submental state. That's where you're going to go. And where the niggas are now. You understand? In hell. That's where you'll serve. We serving out a sentence here on earth in hell. And I said that on my Facebook. That's really what we serving. We serving out a sentence here on hell. The so-called God race, the Amen beings, your so-called black people, you niggas are in jail. You in jail. Soon as you, like I said, soon as we fell down, here's the 200 fallen angels, we was in prison. We started to lose our power, and we went right under the beast. You understand? You in jail. You locked up. Don't think because you can get on a plane and travel and whatnot, you got to get a passport, don't you? You can't just go freely now, can you? You got to ask him for permission to leave. You understand? You got to be under his orders. You got to be under his racism. You got to go to his job every day. Pay taxes to him. You understand that? You're supposed to be answering to a higher authority. But see, you were allowed to go under a lower authority because you didn't want to listen to the higher authority. And you still got niggas who want to be individuals. You still got niggas who don't want to listen, who talking about, I'm not going to do, I'm doing what I want to do. You ain't no do, you doing nothing. That's not how it works. Go serve the beast. You already serving him already when you come with that individualistic bullshit. You already serving him. Because don't ever think you doing what you want to do. Everything you doing in society, you're doing what he wants you to do. Whether you smoking weed, whether you stand on the corner with your pants off your ass, wearing Yankee baseball caps, smoking blunts, you serving him. That's why that nigga Biggie said, I don't want to go to heaven, I want to go to hell, and all that other stuff he said. Nigga, we already in hell. That's why these niggas, they love this world. They love it. Because they love to serve the beast. Don't you? I'm waking y'all up. These niggas love to serve the beast. These conscious niggas, these revolutionaries, educated niggas, they love the beast, the world of the beast. They love this. They love it. You understand that? They love it. They love his world. You understand? They love to serve the beast. But the ones who are the bright ones know we in prison. You understand? The bright ones know that we are in prison. You understand? They know that we serving out a sentence. You understand? That this is pure hell, not being able to link into our higher intelligence, you understand? And leave out of here and come back and forth as we please. You understand? That we not actually ruling the planet like it was meant to be. You understand? This is pure hell to the ones who are in tune. The ones who want to receive that intelligence of the true and living God. Amen. But see, that's not going to come to somebody, that's not going to come to an individual who want to be by himself. The God race is a family, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family, a society, a government. That's what it is. It's not no individuals. It don't work like that. You understand? They are able to move on their planet continuously as one mental force. That is what's powering their world forward. You understand? Throughout the universe. No boundaries. No planet, no sun to rotate around. No time to get caught in. You understand that? No time to get caught in. No boundaries. That's why God is supreme, because he has no boundaries. He has no limitations. His world moves in with no limitations. You understand? We are in a world of limitations. However, a fourth plane is being opened up to us, right? In another dimension that is expanding our limitations, but you will not get it as an individual. I'm going to tell people pretty soon, you don't come to me as an individual no more. You come to me as part of this. I'm only gonna be interested in teaching state of mental elementals. I'm not interested in teaching anybody else who's not part of it. You're either gonna serve the beast or you're gonna serve Amen. I'm serving Amen. I follow a higher authority. I'm a follower of Amen. I serve as an extension of Amen. I don't feel like it's my ego that nobody gonna tell me to do. Amen tells me what to do. You think I want to do this? You think I want to do this? Have to deal with hard-headed niggas? Have to go out amongst ignorant niggas to try to find my people? You understand? The black race and the conditions, they disgust me. You understand? Disgusting. I'm not even mad at the beast because he's doing what he's supposed to do. You understand? The black race, it's like going amongst dead bodies and trying to move dead bodies out of the way to find the living. That's how I feel when I go out here and we promote these conferences. To go amongst ignorant people. To have somebody tell me what they don't want to do. Hell, I don't want to do this at times. But then there's bright ones amongst us that make me feel like, you know what, this is all worthwhile. But I'm letting you know how it is. You understand? I wish I can. I want to go up out of here and go with them, with the Amen beings. But this is my part of my punishment too, to be down here, dealing with ignorance. I want to go. I want to interdimensionally travel myself and move. You understand? Certain things started gradually, but like I said, this is what you deal with. You understand? If all of us ain't going home, ain't none of us going home. You understand that? Ain't no more of this nonsense with no individualism. So like I said, we live in mentellect as a way of life. This ain't something that we live, that's something heavy to listen to. For you niggas that feel like it's something heavy to listen to, it's deep to listen to, go back amongst your friends and go down to the conscious community. They got plenty of bullshit for you to listen to. They're not dealing with no knowledge like this. And if you think it's the same, then that, like I said, that proves that your senses are warped. You understand? You can't differentiate. You cannot differentiate. This knowledge is for the bright race, the ones who are looking to come apart or come together amongst their own. The people who are looking at the bigger picture, the people who don't see things as individuals. You do what you're told. That's it. Those of our people who have an ego problem, you're not going to make it in this thing. You're not going to make it. Same way they tell you in the Army, if you got a problem with authority and being told what to do by your lieutenants and your captains and whatnot and following orders, you're not going to make it in the Army. You understand? You're not going to make it. You understand that? Complete and total following of orders, obedience. Our people have a problem with that. So, of course, our people are not going to be able to follow God because with that nonsense you following, you understand? That nonsense that you follow, that's not no God. That's beliefs of men. Praying 5 times a day or doing whatever you're doing and going to the church and giving your tithes or whatever, that's not following God. Now, that's following a bunch of men. That's lining the pockets of a bunch of men who doing nothing but telling you lies. And you doing that to get you some feel good because you doing something foul in your life. If you've done something foul in your life and you trying to think by doing these things that you're going to repent in some sort of way or this is going to buy you out of your guilt. You understand? It's not going to do that. It is not going to do that. It's not going to buy you out of your guilt. It's not going to buy you out of the things you did in the past, whether you was being a hoe earlier or you was being some simple-minded nigga shooting up the neighborhood. No, that's not going to buy you out of it. The fact that you still here to hear this message, you're supposed to be accepting this and moving on and acknowledging it as the true knowledge of God. The true and living God, Amen. Not no Jehovah, no Allah, no Yahweh Shai, whatever, these false gods from men who come with their own agendas. I don't have an agenda. My thing is to teach the evolution and the intelligence of God to the elect and bring them together as a collective. You have to function as part of the collective. For me to get up here and just teach people will serve you no purpose because then it's just words. God wants all people together. The Amen beings, Amen, the true and living God wants all people together. So when he comes to his world, when he sends messages from his world, because it's going to take all of us collectively to receive his message from that world. Because all of us one of us on our own is not strong enough to receive all that intelligence. I'm receiving, but then think of what would happen if this person was receiving with me. This person, we was all together meditating and doing whatever we do. You understand? Receiving this intelligence. It would be stronger if we were all on the same page. But you're going to have Negroes who don't want that. We're not praying in front of no statues made of stone. That's from man. No more stone praying. No more stone throwing. No more pushing people out of the way to kiss rocks. You understand? That's a bunch of prehistoric, superstitious bullshit. You understand? And our people are still doing this madness. Our people are still following the ways of the beast. How long are our people going to remain stupid? You understand? How long are we going to keep following the same ignorance? Running in circles. Getting nowhere. Nothing's changing for you. If you're still reading the same old books and there's no higher intelligence and no clarity, no greater clarity coming, you understand? Then what's the sense? I had a Muslim, I tell you, a Muslim brother going to ask me, oh, brother, I can't wait to hear, what you're going to break. When I broke down about the 200 fallen angels and all this other stuff, and when I didn't give him, I'm like, well, I broke it down. And I guess the brother wasn't trying to feel that, so, because I didn't give him what he wanted to hear. Then why, if you had the answer already, you knew the answer, and your Islam taught you, why was you even listening to me? Obviously, the answer wasn't there with your Islam. So your Islam and your religion and your whatever was incomplete, or you felt it was incomplete. The answer's not there. It's a bunch of mystery and spookism. God and where he comes from is not dealing with mystery and spookism. God exists on a planet just like we exist on a planet. You understand? We are gods in future state. We are gods in future state. You understand? We're not there yet because there's no there yet to get to. There's a continuous going. Just like God is continuously moving through the atmosphere, through the universe, we're supposed to be continuously learning and receiving his intelligence as he's sending it to us to become that supreme being and to separate from the human race mentally and physically. You understand? This is what's supposed to be going on. This is the evolution of a people. God's world is the evolution of this world. God's planet is the evolution of this planet. A new government. You understand? Mental control. Mental reception. Yes. God controls the mind. Yes. Because either you're going to be under the mental control of the beast, again, or you're going to be under the mental control of God. You niggas are under the submental control of the beast. You understand? And he don't even give you real things to think about. You understand? Can you imagine the images that God would generate into your mind if you was in tune? That's what I want. You understand? Because I know I'm not thinking of nothing on my own. Nobody's thinking of anything on their own. Nobody's creating anything. You understand? So knowing this, I would rather have the intelligence from God coming in that continuous world of Mentel or the planet Amen, or what you call Nibiru, planet X. I'd rather have his intelligence being beamed to me telepathically and receiving these images in my head from him and serving his will and his purpose on the planet than serving the goddamn beast. I'd rather do that. No, but you black women, y'all rather serve the beast. You want to keep getting your hair permed till it fall out your head. You want to stay in the club clapping your ass cheeks in the club dancing, being a whore, being the biggest slut, getting drunk, doing all these things. That's what you want to continue doing. That's serving the beast. That's one more nigga that he don't got to worry about who's going to raise in their intelligence and take him out of position. So when he offers you these things, when he offers you this ignorant-ass music to listen to, these ignorant-ass TV shows to watch, to take into your brain, that's dumbing you down, that's making sure that you're not going to receive that intelligence from the true and living God coming from that continuous state, that you're not going to receive the intelligence of Amen. When you in the church getting prayed up to Jesus, Yahweh Shah, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, that's making sure that you're going to be dumbed down so you're not going to receive the true intelligence of God, Amen. You understand? From that world. You understand? That's making sure of that. So you serving him. when you're taking these things into your mind. You're serving him when you're doing these activities. Ain't no doing you. You niggas under this impression, oh, yo, I'm just doing me, son. I'm just doing me, smoking my weed. I'm just doing me. No, you doing him. He puts the weed here for you to smoke. The crack, the drugs, the liquor for you to drink, the clubs for you to be in to shake your ass and sell your ass for money. He does that. He gives you a stage to be a goddamn fool and a low life and a submental. He gives you the stage. He provides it for you. Give a nigga a stage and they'll coon out every time. Tap dance, soft shoe, they'll do it all the time. Put on shows like Love and Hip Hop. Foolishness. Foolish nigga nonsense when you're supposed to be receiving this intelligence of the true and living God. Helping to transform this thing as a collective. That's what's supposed to be happening here. Not as no individual because you want to be deep and heavy. Oh, brother, I just want to do my own thing and I just want to be off in the cut and do my own thing and I'm good. No, nigga, then this ain't for you. This ain't going to resonate with you. You can listen to it all you want to, but it's not going to mean nothing because after a while, it's going to just sound like blah, 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 blah. And that's what my words are going to sound like until you come together amongst your people collectively. That's when it's going to start to resonate. When we together. That's when you're going to start seeing things actually happen, when we together. Not listening to my voice and getting your fix, your deep conscious fix off my voice because you want to get your mind blown. Go to hell. You're not here for the evolution. You understand? You're not here for the evolution. You're here for yourself as an individual. You make that clear. I said all these people who say they with me, like I said, I want to see you in November. I want to see you in November. You got plenty of time to bring yourself to New York in November. You understand? Not interested. Like I said, you niggas with your egos who want to be individuals, you in the conscious thing, you niggas is finished, man. Y'all finished. You understand? Your little congregations who come in there listening to them little conscious things, they're going to start waking up. They're going to start realizing that the wool been pulled over their eyes. You niggas know who you are, talking about your covenants and things like that, and your 144,000 passing off yourself as leaders. You understand? Talking about money and politics and all this other nonsense going to help our people. Your congregation talking about sovereignty. Your congregation going to wake up and realize y'all full of shit and that you just trying to get people to give you their money. You just trying to get people to take their little bit of money they got left. They gonna wake up and see that y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of con artists, bunch of buck dancing coon con artists trying to get your next Yankee hat, trying to get your next $200 pair of sneakers, or trying to get your next hoe, conscious hoe, to be a new groupie. They gonna wake up and see that you niggas ain't about nothing. You understand that? You niggas ain't about nothing but causing confusion. So I'm going to answer these last questions. Let me go through these so I make sure I got everything. You know my MO. Work myself up here. I ain't mad. Like I said, I'll let people know. When you hear me talk like that, I'm just, giving a little shock value. You know what I'm saying? Going and sending that charge through to wake my people up. Where did God really come from? God came from a planet that was outside this atmosphere, outside of this solar system. They refer to it as Nibiru. We refer to it as the planet Amen or the planet Mentel. It is a continuous planet that moves through the universe. You understand? With no boundaries. That is powered by intelligence. By the intelligence of a society or a collective of highly intelligent beings known as the Amen beings. Not human beings, but the Amen beings. And their descendants are the so-called black race here on Earth, who are supposed to be the receivers of their intelligence, because the bright ones who are going to wake up on this planet, they're going to be the ones that are going to be receiving intelligence from the Amen beings to help power this planet into that new reality, into that new state. It won't be the rest of the black race. The rest of the black race, they're going to die off with the majority of the beast. Anyway, what does it mean when it says that he came in the clouds? That means that God, or Amen, and them came in small shuttles and small ships, right, from their planet into this planet. And you had the people of that time that seen them traveling through the clouds in ships. You understand? Some of them even flew through the sky. They wasn't bound by gravitational pull here. They were moving by levitational lift. You understand? So That's what it means when it said they moved through the clouds. They were traveling through ships, on ships. You understand what they refer to as spaceships? Why do they refer to it as spaceships? Because obviously it was a time where they were moving through the universe. Space. Space is the universe. You know what I mean? Crafts that move through the universe. And they came into this atmosphere through the dimensions. You understand? And the people saw them moving through the clouds. What is heaven and what is heaven? Heaven is their planet, their world. You understand? Nibiru, Mentel, that's heaven. Where there are no boundaries, where there are no limitations, where people are advancing and they're not trapped under anyone like we are here. Hell, what is hell? Hell is here under the beast in limitations as the goddamn black race. That's hell. Sitting here looking at some simple-minded Sambo Coon niggas on TV. You understand? Sitting around here, niggas begging for civil rights, begging for movie roles, begging for welfare, begging for jobs, can't keep their goddamn lights on, living in pissy buildings and projects. That's hell. But to the black race, that they okay, everything is good. This is heaven here. As long as they get a few dollars and can drive a nice car, that's heaven here for the black race. You understand? But for the bright race, this is hell. And the beast is going to make it hell on the black race in a minute because he's about to make it hell when he take all their toys away from these niggas. So this is hell. There's no place under no goddamn ground. That's a lie. When is God coming back and why? God already started making his descent into the atmosphere mentally. And the purpose is to bring about and raise up and elect people, as it spoke about in the book of Revelation, to bring about an ascension in a people, to raise the mentality of a people so that these people are worthy to receive and send messages and govern the new world to come. That's the point. Evolution, to serve as receivers, to serve a purpose, not to be no individual, not to come and get on your knees and get prayed up and all that bullshit. No, to serve a purpose. Ain't no praying. You're supposed to be up here serving a purpose, doing what you're told. You understand? After people are going, are people going to go where God is when they die? Only the elect will. They will go into the future world. They will go into the world with no boundaries. They will go to that place referred to as Nibiru or planet Amen. They will go. The bright race will go where they belong in that evolutionary state, and some will return back. Some will stay here to govern the planet. Some will ascend through these dimensions as their mind takes them. Some won't suffer a physical death. Some will just beam out of here mentally. That's real. You understand? That was the story of, I believe, Enoch, when they say he didn't go through a physical death. Obviously, it was somebody who actually went through that. They might have just changed the name to Enoch, but obviously somebody was able to leave out of here mentally through the God race. You know? Let me see. Are people going to where God is when? Okay. Is God really concerned about everyone on the planet? No, he's not. Obviously. Damn sure ain't concerned about the black race. You understand? The black race is an afterthought. So it don't matter how much you get prayed up and all this other stuff. God is only concerned with the bright race, the ones who are evolving out of the black race, because the black race is full of shit. They just like the white man. They want the same things the beast want. They want to smoke weed. They want to stay out of prison. They praying for God to give them some money to keep them out of prison. You know what the black race is like? The black race is like that shifty ass nigga cousin that you got to only come around when he wants something. You understand? That's what the black race is like to God. He like that shifty. The black race like that shifty ass nigga cousin that come around when he only wants something. He ain't never there to help or do nothing else. That's what the black race represents. You know, if I could see that clearly, you don't think God can? You understand? You don't think God, and that's obvious. Ain't me saying, oh, that's you just your thinking, brother. Look in the book of Revelation. God say you're only dealing with 144,000. So what does that say about the black race? What does that say about the majority of your black race? That ain't just me saying it. Obviously, this man John who received that revelation, he's seeing what God said. He only dealing with a small elect few, like he always been dealing. So it ain't me, the intellectual, just making that up. That's all throughout your Bible. It's all throughout your the Sumerian stories. God only deal with an elect few because the rest of the people is full of shit. You understand? They just like the beast. They on that submental state. So how you going to send higher intelligence and higher reception to people who are on a submental state? You can't. They're mentally dead. They're below the meter. All right. Will God raise up a people on the earth for the future? Yeah, the 144,000, the elect, as we've spoken about in the book of Revelation, from his world. He will bring his world down here on earth. You understand? He will use them to bring in his world so that they can be the new governors of the earth. That's going to come. As long as our people are coming together and receiving this knowledge, that's going to come. This is the real 144,000, the ones who are mentally in tune with the true and living God, Amen. Not no people that's talking about they Muslims and Christians and, it don't matter what we are. Yes, it do matter. Yes, it do matter. You niggas that talk that bullshit, you just want to cause confusion. You just want to bring in your beliefs because you can't let go of your crutch. Because you want to believe some God and care about you and want to put his arm around you. No, it ain't going down like that, sister, brother. It ain't going down like that. You understand? So now we've come to the end of our broadcast. Join us Friday at 9 p.m. State of Intel Radio. I don't quite know I got an idea on what I wanted to, the thing to be, what's going to be, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll see what I want to play around with for the next topic. All right. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. The next State of Intel Supermen Superwomen conference is going to be taking place September 25th, Sunday, September 25th in Brooklyn, New York City. That's the official date we got. Next State of Intel Supermen Superwomen Project. Those of you who missed the last one, come out to this one. Be seen, be heard. Only come if you're looking to be a part of the elect. Certain people we're going to open up membership to. Other people we are not. First time people, you're not going to get opened up to membership. You have to come a few times, be seen, things like this, so we know who we're dealing with. So that's it. Good night. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. Join us Friday night at 9, same Mintel channel, same Mintel time. Again, good night.
That's monkey.